So the thought for today is why a side hustle is a waste of time, why you should get that conception out of your mind, even though people trying to act like it's cool to, drool over like some type of little income you could get off of some side hustle. Like really that's nothing for you. So what I'm trying to show you is there's a better way. So I'm going to break it down like this with a preview of what I got to say. So I'm going to talk about what is a side hustle, why a side hustle is a waste of time, why you should get it out of your mind, and then talking about really like why a side hustle is not going to make you rich, why you shouldn't even focus on it. Well, and then I'm going to say really end up with like what you should be focusing on with your spare time instead of that side hustle nonsense, right? So like my own personal path has taught me this because I used to have side hustles. I always used to be focused on side hustles. I thought it was cool. I thought like, the more work I did and the harder I worked would determine how much money I made. That's what I always taught. Like, oh, just if I'm working all the time, I'm going to be making more money. And if I just work harder, then like I'll make more money and more money is going to come through. Well, that was just something that I thought I knew, but little did I know that it wouldn't come true. So I changed up my thinking and everything started working better. So, I used to think that I could not get rich with my main career. So I needed to have a side hustle to become rich. And this is back when I was like on the job thing, right? This is back when I was like, oh man, I just keep going to school and then like I'll get a better job, and the more school, the more money I pay to go to more school and the better grades I get will determine like what kind of job I get, and then I can like stay there for a few years and get a raise and all that kind of nonsense, right? So I was like, yeah, and then if I just do these side hustles in my spare time, then I'll make more money and then I'll get rich quicker and everything. And I also used to be like way more stressed out and sleep deprived during this time, right? Like I would like, pretty much like think like, oh man, I don't need 8 hours of sleep. Like I can get by on 5, I can get by on 6. Like that's no big deal. And I was always stressing like, oh man, I gotta go from this job and then I gotta rush through traffic to get to this school thing. And then like, man, that was so stupid. But I had to go through that to learn that. So hopefully I can teach people something off of my mistakes so they don't have to like do the same thing. And if you disagree with what I'm saying, just, hopefully you get something out of it. Like I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong, that your path is off, but, just be more conscious of what you're doing at the end of the day, and don't get misconstrued with what I say. Just take the good from the bad, and, it'll all come about without a doubt. So yeah, I also used to worry about money way more than I do now. This was back when I was like, oh, money means everything. Like, the amount of money I make is determined on like how people are going to view me in society. And like, if I don't have any money, like, people aren't going to want to be around me and like all that stuff. And people are going to think I'm a bum and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. But looking back, that's just really like how I was conditioned. That's pretty much how society had always really like taught me to think, really. So like I can't be mad at anybody for it. Like that's just like something now that I ignore it because I know that it's nonsensical. So like, I used to really care too much about whether or not people thought I was broke. Now I know it's really better to be broke and do something that you love than have a lot of money and do work that you really don't like, or spend the majority of your time doing something just for the outcome of making money, right? Because like, people look back at their life towards the end of their life like, wow, like how'd I spend all my time? It's a lot of rich people out here who really like are not happy, and there's a lot of poor people out here who are like extremely happy. So yeah, money doesn't really mean that much. So really, I realize now that, if you're working on something you enjoy the most, that this is going to provide the most value to people. And then this will determine that the value you receive in return, right? So like if you're doing something that you love, then you get better and better at it, and you focused on being the best at it, really, or as best as you can be at it. It's going to provide more value than anything else you could possibly do in this world. And then the more value you provide to other people in a positive form, you're going to get that value back in return, right? So like going into really the first point I'm trying to make today is like, what is a side hustle? So a side hustle is really anything you do on the side to make extra money. So, I mean, something where you're paid actively instead of passively, right? Something you're paid not specifically like a job, like, for like each hour you put in, but at the end of the day, it's like something where you're paid for your time, the effort that you put in. It's not generally not some type of passive income where, you do something once and then you're paid for it for like the rest of your life. So, yeah, it's really more of an active type thing. So this is also something that is different from your main goal or your main purpose in life. That's why it's called like a side hustle. So even if you're like working at a full-time job and you're trying to do some kind of side hustle, if you're going to school and you're trying to do some like type of side hustle, it's generally like different. It's generally not the same type of like direction as like the main thing that you're doing in life. So this could be anything like, reselling stuff. That's really popular on social media right now, like going to like cheap stores and garage sales and like buying like, junk crap and then like reselling it on like websites like Amazon and eBay to make like a couple extra dollars. And usually they leave out all the stuff about like the having to deal with returns and having to deal with like stolen credit cards and people not trying to pay you and dealing with like stuff getting lost in the mail. They usually don't talk about that stuff, but you gotta, take all that into account too. So also drop shipping, even if you're not going out there and buying stuff yourself, even if you're just like, paying for advertising and like just like sending people to a website and, having them buy something and then like, you just ship it automatically to them. Or even like a lot of people just like feel like they have to get like a second or a third job, like some kind of part-time job that, whether it's like working at like a bar or something like that, right? Well, these are all really like side hustles, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong, like at the end of the day, you obviously need money to survive out here, right? But it's better to like put more time into, in my opinion, finding one job that pays you more instead of like, some extra job or extra side hustle to make more money, right? So like that, all that time and effort you put into spending an extra, putting into a side hustle, I would say just really if you're still working at a job and you don't have your passive income or your business set up yet to the point where you can be self-sufficient off that, put that extra side hustle time into just finding a better job or finding a way to make more money at your current job, right? So you're really spending the same amount of time at a job, but you're making more money instead of spending extra time doing something that you're just doing to make money, right? Because really, I mean, like, if you weren't making money off of it, like, ask yourself this question: would you still do it? Would you enjoy doing it if you did it for free? I mean, would people be drop shipping and would people be going to garage sales and buying junk and reselling it if they didn't get paid to do it? Like, is this something that they enjoy doing? Or would they rather be spending their time doing something else? So, yeah, really a side hustle is something you're only doing just to make money. So, like, now I want to get into why a side hustle is really a waste of time, right? Well, first off, it distracts you from your main purpose in life, right? Like the main thing you enjoy doing in life, what you would rather do more than anything else if you have free time, your day off, whatever, like when you're feeling good and you just want to like enjoy your life and have fun and practice to get better and better at it, whatever that is. I mean, even if it's playing video games, right? There's people out here that are making like millions of dollars now just playing video games, right? Doesn't really matter what it is, it's whatever you enjoy, right? Because if you're the best at it, if you enjoy it so much that you keep getting better at it, like, that's all that matters, right? There's a way you can find a way to provide value to people with that. So, Another reason why a side hustle is a waste of time is it takes time away from your main purpose, right? Like the time you could be spending, like getting better and doing what you enjoy and feeling good and being happy is going to be spent like worrying about like some kind of like side hustle logistics and all that kind of stuff, right? And I mean, you see these people that even if they're making like, $100,000 a month, which is super rare with some kind of side hustle, right? Like the time, that's really not, those people aren't really side hustles. That's they're putting in like, the majority of their time. But anyways, like the small amount of income you make in the short term is nothing compared to the money that you make in the long run by spending the same amount of time on your main goal or your main purpose, right? Because even though like, a lot of us are like myself in general was like brought up to think like, well, it's really hard to like start a business because you have to go through all this time where you like don't make any money before you actually make money. Okay, well, that's true, but if you break it all down and like, you're getting paid whatever per hour and you start a job working right away, you know, at the end of the day, you average it all out and you're going to be making way less even if you start getting paid right away doing a job than if you start some kind of business and you're not getting paid in the beginning and you're doing basically work for free, but it's not really for free because you in the long run will be getting paid way more. Plus you're going to enjoy what you'll be doing for sure. So yeah, the amount of income you make in the short term is really nothing compared to the money you'll make in the long run by spending the same amount of time as you would with a side hustle on your main goal or your main purpose. So a side hustle is not going to make you rich. Like, and that shouldn't even really be like, your goal anyway, right? Like your goal should be to like spend your life doing something that you enjoy, something that makes you happy. Like I said before, there's so many rich people out here that spend all their time like focused on money and they're just not happy. So a side hustle mindset comes really from a place of lack instead of abundance. So that's what you're constantly focused on. You're like, well, I can't make enough money doing what I'm doing with my main like job that I'm spending at least 40 hours a week on, not to mention sitting through traffic and all that kind of stuff that, you're thinking like, I need more. Like that's not enough. I got to go out and like do something on the side to make a few extra, $100 or a few extra $1,000 a month. So like, that's all lack. Like your mindset's not abundance with that. When you're happy and when you enjoy what you're doing, your mindset's on abundance because you'd rather be doing that than anything else. So, I would say like really, side hustle is also a waste of time because, sleep or anything else that makes you healthier is a better use of your time than a side hustle because it makes your efforts that are spent on your main goal way more effective and you're going to come out with way better quality work. You're going to feel a lot better. You're going to be a lot happier. So instead of like, grinding, like, burning the candle at both ends, all that kind of thing, just, sleep, get some rest, exercise, eat vegetables, eat healthy food, improve your mood, whatever you got to do. So, you can get a full-time job if you need to make money. And you can work on your purpose on the side until you earn enough to quit your job, right? And that's not a side hustle. That's you doing what you got to do to pay the bills. That's what you doing what you got to do to put food on your table, right? That's doing what you got to do to survive. But then at the same time, you're doing your main purpose. You're doing what you enjoy on the side. And you have that with that intention that over time, that side thing that is your like main purpose, what you would rather do than anything else, that's going to be like your main thing in the future. And you're only doing what you got to do to pay the bills until that side hustle thing makes you more money than anything else, right? So really, what should you focus all of your spare time on? I would say spend as much time as possible on your main purpose. Anything else really, like if it's not sleep, if it's not like exercise, whatever, meditation, whatever that's going to like put you in a better state of mind and in turn is going to, make your life better, make you enjoy your work, the quality of work you put out is going to be better than if you're like sleep deprived and hungry, or, you know, stomach full of like just like not healthy food, stuff like that, right? So you should be focusing on the thing that you enjoy doing the most that also provides value to other people. Almost anything that you enjoy doing can benefit other people. You just might not see it at the time, right? Like you might be thinking, well, like how can whatever I like doing more than anything else, I don't see how I can make money off that. That's just like, no, there is a way. You just don't see it yet. Like you just need to like put your subconscious mind to work more, and you know, you'll find the answer. You just need to like believe it's possible in the first place. So really, almost anything you enjoy doing can make you rich, right? So spend your time becoming better at your main purpose. Practice, keep practicing what you're doing. Educate yourself on how to be better. Study people that you look up to. Observe, you know, knowledge. So search out mentors, man. Search out people that are already doing what you're trying to do. Even if they don't have time to spend on you, you can still learn from them. You can still get better by observing. Search out connections with like-minded people. Find out how you can, you know, collaborate with people that are doing the same thing you're trying to do. You can even search out for people who, you know, are doing something different but have overlapping markets, right? So, you know, they might bring more awareness to what you're doing with their market, and then you can bring more awareness to what they're doing with your market by collaborating with these people. So also, you know, just make sure, like I said before, rest and recharge. Like that's so important. Focus on working smarter instead of harder and longer. Like that's the quote for today, right? Focus on working smarter instead of harder. Focus on becoming better than your previous self instead of being better than somebody else. Excuse me. So yeah, that's another quote. Focus on being better than yourself instead of being better than somebody else. Like you don't need to be in any kind of competition with other people. It's better that you have a mindset of collaborating with other people instead of trying to like beat or be better, or like looking down at other people, right? So focus on learning from other people and their mistakes, right? Like you can avoid so many mistakes just by looking at what other people did wrong and then like avoiding that path, avoiding those missteps. And be more conscious about your image and how you treat other people. But at the same time, don't worry about what other people think about you. Like do what you do regardless of like, you know, if people say it's stupid, if people say that they don't think that there's any way that you're ever gonna like make money doing that, you know, ignore all that stuff. That's their opinion. Like let them have it, right? But like don't let that like affect you. Like keep doing what you're doing, because I guarantee you those same people that doubted you, once you start making a lot of money, once you start like doing what you're doing, once you quit your job and you're making more money than they are, whatever it is, they're gonna come back and they're gonna be like, oh man, I knew you could do it. That's so awesome. Like, you know, that's just how it works. Like, but you can't even worry about that, because that's just how it works. That's just how it's gonna be. Just be aware of it. That's what's up, right? So that's about it for today. Hope you enjoyed what I gotta say. Hope you got some value out of it. Next video I'm gonna be bringing is really on like how to make a blueprint to start your first business, right? Even if it's not like a business as far as like legality, LLC, corporation, whatever. Like, you know, you don't need to have a registered business to really be like making a lot of money doing what you enjoy. Like, right, what I'm really gonna be doing is just covering like, you know, the steps you gotta take, the general blueprint you gotta make to turn what you enjoy into your primary source of income so you can do more of that. So go ahead and big up the likes, hit that thumbs up button, go ahead and leave any comments, questions, whatever it is, whatever you want to see more of. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to come through with new information steady. So that's it. I'm out. Peace.